Welcome back to the Desk Talk Podcast. This is the fast-paced Friday episode. Your hosts, Trent Werner and Alex Smagala. Let's do it!
Welcome back to the Desk Talk Podcast. We wanted to wish you a Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year from all of us over here. Let's dive into the Christmas episode about business planning and how it can keep you on track to achieve the goals that you want to achieve in whatever industry you may be in. This isn't just something for mortgages or real estate. It's pretty much everything. If you don't have a business plan, what are you doing is kind of my question to the audience. But, Trent, do you have some facts behind business plans and their importance? I know you were just looking some up, so.
Well, I only have two facts, and it pertains to real estate in particular. 3% of all real estate agents have a business plan, and conversely, 3% of all real estate agents in the United States do about 97% of the business. So whether there's a correlation there or not, could be, probably is.
Sounds like a pretty strong correlation.
But like you said, it's not just real estate professionals. I think this topic really pertains to any small business owner or self-employed person. I mean, Coca-Cola, Nike, they're going to have business plans years out.
Yeah, I mean, they're like 10-year, but each year they still revisit. That's the thing is, at Pacific Office, we did like 10, broke it into 5, and a year, and then every year you kind of reevaluated it, and we're like, am I getting closer to my 5 and 10-year goals with these yearly goals that I set? So it's if you're on that long-term thought, then these yearly goals are just kind of revisiting, am I on track for my long-term vision?
Right. I agree, yeah. But I mean, as us not being a big company,
yes,
how do you approach business plan? Do you approach it strictly sales numbers and tracking, or are you doing intangible tracking, whether like networking events, contacts or touches to your sphere, into other intangibles like marketing efforts?
Yeah. I mean, when I first started doing this industry, working mortgages, my business plan consisted of I want to make this amount of money and just broke it down to basically exactly how many deals I needed to come in each month. And then I looked at, okay, based on how many deals, how many phone calls, visits do I need to make? And so I was really like sales numbers oriented. And this year it's going to be a lot different focus where it's marketing efforts, holistic kind of approach to the business, everything, and not just I want to sell this and I want to make this and breaking it down by numbers. I don't think I'm really going to get too fine with numbers this year because it's more of just the efforts that I want to put in, the relationships. I think I'm going to focus on relationships this year.
Yeah, but those efforts are still going to lead to being able to track numbers. So I think it is. Yes. I was just reading that it's good to have both in your business plan, and some people even do just a 2021 plan where it's business and personal, especially for self-employed people. At least myself, I tend to treat my personal finances like a business because it's all kind of the same thought process. For example, what's your thoughts on doing like a holistic 2021 business personal mashup, or do you want to keep them separate?
I tend to keep mine separate, but now that this industry has kind of brought both my personal and my business kind of together, I don't really have them separated at this point. Mm-hmm. I might as well kind of intertwine them and look at using both.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be a completely different year because I haven't planned this way before for my business. So I should have started way long ago. Spoiler, I haven't done mine yet, and we're approaching the end of the year, but it'll happen next week.
I haven't even thought about it yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's just busy. I'm trying to close out this year. Mm-hmm. So it's just I haven't really focused on next year when I'm trying to finish out this year.
But that was my biggest mistake, especially in the first 18 months, was I'd get a client, I'd get a deal in contract, and I focus so much on that deal that I forget about the next client, the next deal. And so I know last year going into this year, my big focus was maintaining a pipeline and constantly, trying to feed it.
Yep, that's definitely going to be on my list.
And but I think that's good with your plan too.
Maintaining a big pipeline is kind of like a big, it's like saying like when you're going to go look at selling a product, apparel, and then you're weaning it down to what niche you want. It's like that statement is like a blanket statement that then I'm going to wrap in, okay, marketing, networking events, first-time homebuyer meetings, just like everything that I'm going to do to try and continue to grow my business is going to kind of fall under that umbrella.
So one thing that we do at Uptown is we set monthly rocks, quarterly rocks, and yearly rocks. Or at least I set yearly rocks. Normally it's just monthly and quarterly. But the rock is like that whole, if you had sand, pebbles, and bigger rocks, like what would you fill the cup with first? Like how could you get more done kind of thing?
When did they do that? What age? I don't know. Some teacher did that at first, and they started with like golf balls, and then it became like gravel, and then sand, and it's like it fills up the bottle.
But if you start with the sand, then you can't get the golf balls and close the lid.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of those networking events, those touches with your sphere, whatever it may be, those actions are kind of like your rocks.
Yep. And
then the fillers or the sand are the leads that come from it, the referrals that come from it.
Working those, talking with people.
Maybe someone that you've talked with is needing a refi or whatever it is. That is then going to lead to your specific numerical data and information that you can track. And maybe, who knows, this year networking events might be pretty sparse.
Yeah, and they're not very fun to do via Zoom. They're pretty hard to network via Zoom. Mm-hmm. But that's where it's just like, where can you kind of quickly flip-flop into something else? And so it's just like content.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Mad content.
And interaction on other people's content, whether it's LinkedIn, Bigger Pockets, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah, I just got lost in a loophole today trying to answer a question that someone posed to me, and I couldn't figure out the answer. I asked people around here, we couldn't get an answer for it, and so I just typed it into Google to try and figure out, and there was this long Bigger Pockets forum that was just like loan officers, serious investors, and they were just going back and forth of like all these creative ways that they kind of got around. It was that question that I raised to you about, like, do you have a financer for this? So couldn't figure it out, but Bigger Pockets, like, literally this huge forum where, like, loan officers were commenting. So I made a note, like, I want to at least once a week hop on one of those forums, create an account, and just try and answer questions that investors have to kind of put my name out there more. Because there's people, from Washington, Virginia, two loan officers, one from Virginia and Washington, were just going at each other and like correcting each other, but they were actually both right because it's state to state, it's different. It's like I didn't want to get there, but I still want to provide like useful information where my name's just now out there on a bigger forum. So
I was rocking Bigger Pockets a couple weeks ago, and then now I've slacked off. But that's definitely going to be in my 2021 plan. I think it's a great way to.
That's like the sand. It's like something that's kind of technically pretty easy to do. An hour a week is going to be suitable for something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, 2021 is going to be a lot different for me too because I'm getting licensed to do reverse mortgages, so I got to plan that as well. But that won't be kind of finalized until end of Q1. Mm-hmm. So it's just different year of business planning for me, which is why I've kind of slacked off so much. But seeing other people doing it is what's kind of motivating me to get back on that horse and attack it kind of head on.
I'm going to tell you right now, mine will be done by Monday.
Like that. I'm definitely not getting mine done by Monday because I'm traveling out of town, but mine will be done by Christmas. And if I'm up on the 24th, late at night, waiting for Santa to come in, I'll still get it done.
All right.
Accountability.
All right. I have a meeting with Jess on Monday, and we're both going over our 2021 plan, so it has to be done by Monday.
There you go. Accountability. Either way, force yourself to get it done.
Exactly.
Did you want to talk about your business plan at all?
Yeah. Like I said,
we're in the same boat, so we pretty much just did.
Yeah, I haven't really laid anything out on paper. I've definitely thought about it in terms of goals that I want to hit, and then breaking that down into smaller numbers is ultimately going to end up being my goals or my plan.
Figuring out the people too, I think is a big step in mine, is like who I'm going to be like working with to kind of stepping stone to get me to where I want to be. Yeah. Figuring out who's going to be in your sphere and who are going to be your closest allies next year are big too.
Yeah. No, I we'll get there. I think, I'm happy to share my business plan with whoever wants to see it. I have no problem doing that. So maybe it's something that if people do want to see, need an example, I'm happy to share it. Just let me know.
Link it in the description
And even if you're doing a business plan in Q2 next year, it's never too late to start.
Still useful.
Yeah.
There's some, I don't remember, it's like you plan to succeed. If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Or so, there's some saying out there about
failure to plan.
There you go. Trent knows
is planning to fail.
Boom.
Knowledge. All right. Have a good weekend. Yes. That was our Fast-Paced Friday episode. Adios.
Peace.
And that was the end of today's Fast-Paced Friday episode. Don't forget to subscribe. Check us out on Instagram, Desk Talk Podcast. All of our socials will be in the description below. Have a great weekend. Adios.